I'm gonna share with you what click-through rate is on YouTube. I'm gonna tell you exactly where to find it for your videos. I'm going to help you interpret what the information means from your click-through rate. And I'm gonna show you how to find your click-through rate from all the different traffic sources so you can make the best decision possible based on what it is that you're trying to do with your YouTube channel and where you're trying to get views from. And if you're new here, my name is Nick and I'd like to welcome you to the TubeSpanner channel where we help you get more views, subscribers, and revenue from the content you're already making. So if you're a content creator, make sure you subscribe. Okay, so the very first thing is finding your click-through rate. So what you have to do is you have to log into your YouTube studio, click into the video in question that you're wanting to uncover the click-through rate on, and then you want to go into your analytics. Once you're in your analytics, you can get some general info by going into your reach tab. Like for example, you'll see here that after 196,000 impressions, this particular video that you're looking at has a 6.5% click-through rate. You're also going to see, if we scroll down the page here, if you look in this area here about how impressions led to watch time, you're also gonna see your click-through rate down here as well, and you're gonna see where viewers are finding your videos from. All of this is extremely important information when it comes to your click-through rate. But you don't wanna look at these numbers and take these at face value because these numbers are your click-through rate averaged out across different traffic sources. So instead, this is what you wanna do. You wanna scroll down the page just a little bit, and you wanna go into this how viewers find this video section. From there, you wanna click on see more. This is gonna take you into your traffic sources report inside of your advanced analytics. And if you scroll down the page right here, you're going to see that none of these options are clickable. So the reason they're not clickable is because this is currently set to since published. So what you wanna do, if you wanna make these clickable so you can really get into some details, then you want to take it from since published to since uploaded. And then you're going to see that all of this is clickable. So the very first thing that I want to bring to your attention here is if we scroll down the page, you can see this area here shows the different places on YouTube. So we have YouTube search, we have browse features, where if we click into this, you can see that it's home, watch later, watch history, subscriptions, and then personalized playlists. But if we go back, we also have channel pages, other YouTube features, suggested videos, end screens, external, a bunch of different places, but I'm gonna focus you on the ones that are the most important, which are browse features, YouTube search, and suggested videos. So what you wanna look at here is you wanna look at how many impressions that you are getting for each individual traffic source. So for example, we can see here in YouTube search, I have 48,000 impressions here, which has led to 6,619 views. And during that, I'm able to maintain a 12.2% click-through rate from YouTube search. Now, in this particular video, if I was targeting YouTube search for the long game, then in that case, I would say, hey, this is okay. I'm doing all right here in this particular case based on the amount of impressions that I have. However, if I come down here to browse features, I can see that I've had almost 100,000 impressions and I'm already down to 4.4%. So if this is my main channel, my benchmark on my main channel is I need to have at least a 5% click-through rate at 100,000 impressions or I change the thumbnail. I try to have 6% or higher. But for me, if I can maintain that 5% with a good quality video, then I usually will end up doing okay on those videos over time. Here, we're still trying to get familiar with what our averages are and all that on the TubeSpanner channel. So I'm gonna leave this for now, but another thing that I need to make sure that I'm considering, and this is something that you need to consider as well, is this lower click-through rate, because you can see how everything's kind of dropped off recently. We had this huge spike when YouTube started releasing the community feed to smaller channels. And then from there, it's kind of died off a little bit after that spike. So because of that, I believe that I'm taking a hit here just on interest, but I could still level this up because people are still responding to it well in search. So the difference would be that I need to change the thumbnail for the sake of trying to get that better response on home pages if my main objective for this video was getting traffic off of home pages. But I'm perfectly happy if it ends up coming from search long term. But another part of this, when it comes to interpreting this information, is if I come over here and I click on the browse features again, we're gonna see on the home page that I'm at 4.4% on 93,000 impressions. But on subscriptions, I'm at a 5.2 at 1,665 impressions. So what this tells me is that subscribers are responding to this okay, but not really that fantastic. Whereas on home pages, we're actually doing a lot better compared to the impressions. So the reason, or the way I'm going to explain this, I should say, is that a lot of people would see this and they would think that this was poor compared to this. But in reality, this is poor compared to this based on the amount of impressions or the amount of people that it's been shown to. But if we go back to the main grid right here, one of the things that you can also interpret from this information when you're trying to interpret this, and actually make it useful is if you have a low click-through rate here and you don't have a lot of impressions, then you definitely need to level things up. But keep in mind, when it comes to your click-through rate, the main things that impact your click-through rate are the topic of the video, your thumbnail, and your title. So even though your click-through rate is a 4.4, it could just be that the topic itself isn't that fantastic, right? Or if it's even lower than this compared to the impressions, it could be the topic isn't resonating. So it's not always the thumbnail, it's not always the title, it can also be the topic itself, and that's something that you need to make sure that you're considering. Another thing with this video, if we come down here to suggested videos, we can see that I'm getting a 0.9% on suggested videos. Now, this is out of 8,000 impressions, which makes this incredibly low. Keep in mind that suggested videos typically will get lower click-through rates than anywhere else on YouTube. But in this particular case, this is a problem because I only have 8,000 impressions there and this isn't even at 1%. So one thing that could be causing the problem here is if you look at the thumbnail for this video, you can see that at a bigger size like this, it's pretty clear about what's going on here, which makes sense in terms of me being able to pull attention from mobile feeds and home pages and stuff like that. But if we scale this back to a size that would be relatively small, like it would show up on the suggested videos, then in that case, you can see that you can't really see that much detail here. There's more focus on the words than using the image to help, pull more attention to it. So I could definitely work on this thumbnail to make it better. And that's the type of information that you can pull when it comes from low performance and suggested. It usually comes down to either the title itself not being that great or them not being able to have their attention grabbed in the thumbnail based on something that they might care about. And by they, I mean the viewers. Now, if we're back on the traffic source grid here, another thing that I wanna bring to your attention is if we do look in these suggested videos, right, you can see how low this is, but keep in mind, this is also being shown across a large variety of videos. So if I click into the suggested videos, then you can see here the difference in terms of all the different videos that it's being shown next to. So of course, you can see here that on my particular YouTube channel, I'm getting a 2.9% from recommended videos, which, is still relatively low, even though it's coming from mine. Here, from this other person's channel, you can see it's actually a little bit higher there coming from theirs. But the way that you use this information is you can start getting an idea of if I'm my own suggested traffic source, how are people responding there? If people are coming from similar content, how are they responding there versus if people are coming from something that is completely different than what it is that I make. And one of the interesting things that you'll see is this example right here. You can see that they showed this one time next to Giant Balloon Day and it got 1 impression, but we got 2 views, which doesn't even make sense. And then it's at a 200% click-through rate there. So this is what I mean about just low impressions, just kind of throwing things off a little bit. So if you don't have a lot of impressions, you just want to make sure that you're taking some of this information with a grain of salt. But the thing that you really want to focus on at the core is if you're targeting YouTube search, then you want to make sure that you're looking here to see how you're performing in YouTube search. If you're targeting home pages and subscription feeds and you're trying to get that response there, then you need to look here under your browse features. And if you want more suggested video traffic, then you want to make sure that you're focusing here on how people are responding on average to those. And another thing that I want to make sure that I'm bringing to your attention as well, if you do find like you're in a situation like this to where you're just performing, okay in search, but you're not doing as well on home pages, then in that particular case, that's where you say, okay, well, this is kind of where I'm at. So why do I think people are responding better in search? Well, the first obvious answer to that is because people are looking for what it is that you have. But the second thing to think about there is you are indeed competing with the other videos that are there in search. So if you see that, one thing that you have to make sure that you're thinking about if it's high is like, okay, people are responding well to this. But if it's low, then you want to make sure that you're thinking to yourself, okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go search for that keyword or keyword phrase that I'm trying to get my videos to show up for, and I'm gonna see what other people are doing there. And then I might make some changes based on how they're framing things or what they're doing with their thumbnails so that I can make mine stand out more to try to get more attention from YouTube search. And then if you're targeting home pages, it's a little bit different because here, this is where you want to get that impressions baseline, because in that particular case, you're competing with everything that YouTube thinks the viewers you're trying to reach is interested in. So because of that, it's really important to make sure that you are taking this one at an impression level, because here, this just means that they're just showing it to people. But if you find that your click-through rate is low compared to like what high performing impressions look like on your channel, then in that case, then that's where you would go in and you would make that change. Now, this is our first video in our series about understanding YouTube analytics. So if you want more like this, let me know in the comments. And also, I'll have a link to a playlist of more of these in the pinned comment as soon as it's available. But in the meantime, to make sure you have everything set up right on your channel, click into this playlist right here, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.